The film begins with a dramatic scene where a king, driven by vengeance, leads his soldiers into a cave in pursuit of a dragon. As they advance, the king scrutinizes his surroundings, perhaps looking for signs of the dragon's presence. Suddenly, the dragon attacks, spewing fire that incinerates the soldiers one by one. The king, seeing his men fall and realizing the hopelessness of the situation, desperately begs the dragon for mercy. The scene ends with the dragon's ominous growl and the king's pleas echoing in the cave. The narrative then shifts to a new kingdom, centuries later. This kingdom is impoverished, with its citizens suffering from hunger and destitution. The protagonist, Elodie, is the princess of this struggling realm. A marriage proposal arrives from a prince of a wealthy kingdom, and Elodie's father is ecstatic, believing that this union could alleviate their kingdom's plight. Though reluctant, Elodie consents to the marriage, understanding the dire need to improve her kingdom's fortunes. As Elodie and her entourage sail towards the prince's kingdom, they navigate through a treacherous sea storm and glimpse dragons flying above the turbulent waters. Despite this ominous sign, they reach the grand palace safely. The palace is magnificent, dwarfing Elodie's home with its grandeur and opulence. A royal servant greets them and shows them to their lavish quarters to rest. That night, while standing on the balcony, Elodie notices a distant fire blazing in the mountains. This sight unnerves her, but the morning brings new events. The queen of the wealthy kingdom formally accepts the marriage proposal and sets the wedding for the next day. She requests a private conversation with Elodie's father, which leaves him visibly distressed. When Elodie's mother inquires about his worries, he remains silent, heightening her concern. Elodie and the prince finally get a moment alone. Elodie questions him about the forced nature of their marriage, but the prince assures her that he genuinely finds her beautiful and is not under any compulsion. During their walk, they reach a hill where Elodie points out the fire she saw the previous night. The prince explains that those mountains are significant for their kingdom and mentions an ancient ritual that will occur there after their marriage. Meanwhile, Elodie's father continues to be troubled by his conversation with the queen. Elodie's mother, sensing something amiss, decides to confront the queen. However, the queen, arrogant and dismissive, refuses to engage with someone she considers beneath her. Elodie's mother then warns her daughters of impending danger, but their father intervenes, clearly wanting to keep something hidden. The wedding day arrives, and Elodie and the prince journey to the fiery mountains. Upon entering a cave, they find the kingdom's people already gathered for the ritual. The queen reveals the dark history of their kingdom. A dragon once wreaked havoc until their king, unable to defeat it, struck a bargain. In exchange for sparing the kingdom, the dragon would receive 3 daughters from each generation. This ritual of blood sacrifice has been maintained ever since. The queen performs the ritual, mixing Elodie's and the prince's blood, symbolizing their unity. Suddenly, the prince picks up Elodie and drops her into a pit, where she loses consciousness. When she wakes, Elodie is in the dragon's lair. The dragon, drawn by her royal blood, intends to kill her. Elodie flees, finding herself in a perilous and treacherous environment. Her foot gets burned by the dragon's fire, but she tends to her wound and pushes on, discovering a small cave filled with the belongings of previous sacrifices. In the cave, Elodie finds bioluminescent insects that heal her burn. This discovery gives her hope. She follows a glowing light to a tree, only to find herself trapped by a large pit. Determined to survive, she uses her wits and a knife to cross the pit. The insects, placed in a makeshift pouch, light her way as she explores further. Elodie encounters a small waterfall, but her respite is short-lived as the dragon attacks again. She hides in another cave, where she finds names of many past victims carved into the walls. Exhausted, she falls asleep, only to wake up healed by the insects covering her wound. She finds a map etched into a stone, showing an escape route. The path is fraught with sharp stones and deadly drops, but Elodie perseveres. While traversing the dangerous terrain, she hears the sound of horses and realizes she is close to the surface. However, the dragon finds her again, and she narrowly escapes into another cave. The dragon taunts her, claiming no one has ever escaped. In a stroke of luck, Elodie hears her father's voice. The dragon, sensing another intruder, flies off to investigate. Elodie follows her father's voice and finds him in a chamber filled with gold and 3 broken dragon eggs. She realizes the truth. Their kingdom story was a lie. The king had killed the dragon's offspring, provoking its wrath. This revelation is confirmed through a flashback showing the king's desperate deal with the dragon. Elodie's father confronts the dragon, demanding his daughter's return even at the cost of his life. The dragon impales him, and Elodie, witnessing this, cries out in anguish. Her father, with his dying breath, urges her to survive and reunite with her mother and sister on their ship. Elodie, fueled by grief and determination, climbs out of the cave using a chain and evades the dragon's fiery attacks. Upon reaching her ship, Elodie finds her injured mother, who informs her that the queen kidnapped her sister. Elodie's mother urges her to save her sibling. Elodie quickly arms herself with glowing insects and her father's sword, preparing for the final confrontation. In the cave, the queen sacrifices Elodie's sister, but the dragon hesitates, preferring to wait for Elodie. Elodie arrives and reveals the kingdom's treachery to the dragon. The dragon, incensed by the betrayal, attacks Elodie, who fights back valiantly. During the battle, Elodie injures the dragon's eye, causing it to burn itself with its own fire. Elodie then convinces the dragon of their innocence and heals its wounds with the insects. United in their quest for vengeance, Elodie and the dragon return to the kingdom. They find the prince preparing to sacrifice another girl. Elodie frees the girl and exposes the truth to everyone. The queen, furious, dismisses Elodie, but the dragon arrives, destroying the palace and the royal family. The kingdom is liberated from its cruel rulers. In the final scenes, Elodie, her sister, and their mother prepare to return home, taking the kingdom's treasure with them. Elodie ensures her mother that they will rebuild their kingdom with the newfound wealth. The dragon, now an ally, accompanies them, symbolizing a new era of peace and prosperity. The story ends with Elodie, her family, and the dragon setting sail towards their kingdom, ready to start anew.